the home front. Created as an all-black unit, these brave airmen flew in the face of prejudice while racking up an impressive combat record. In more than 15,000 sorties against the Luftwaffe, they shot down 111 enemy aircraft and destroyed another 150 on the ground, while losing only 66 of their own. The Germans called them the Black Birdmen, but to the U.S. bomber crews, their escorts were the Red-Tailed Angels, referring to the distinctive red spinners and tails of the Tuskegee P-51s and the bravery of their pilots. Through their extraordinary skill and valor, Colonel Davis's airmen set an example that led the fledgling United States Air Force to be the first service to end racial segregation long before it was abolished nationally. Today, the Tuskegee Airmen spirit lives on through the men and women of the 332nd Air Expeditionary Wing, headquartered at Iraq's Balad Air Base. Proud of their rich heritage, these airmen operate one of the busiest single runway operations in the Department of Defense and play a critical role ensuring security and peace in the region.
In March of this year, President Bush presented the Congressional Gold Medal, the most prestigious medal Congress can bestow, to the Tuskegee Airmen. Tonight, we honor those extraordinary pilots of the 332nd Fighter Group with an original song called Let Me Fly. Here to sing it, please welcome to the stage Master Sergeant Shaney Pruitt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are honored to have some of the original Tuskegee Airmen in the audience with us tonight. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your service to the nation. Thank you very much. And we'd like to thank you for your heroism, and I'd like to sing this song for you, and it is my pleasure. I remember when my grandpa told me stories. He'd lift me up and place me gently on his knee. You know, his eyes would come alive with every tale he told. Everything he said was gold to me. I asked him all about his red-tailed airplane. He used to roam the skies of Italy, watching for the enemy, taking on fire, and blazing out a trail to victory. And he said, "Oh, ever wanted was a moment in the sun. Don't make me hang around down on the ground when the battle has begun. Let me fly.
visiting the VA hospital. In the process of leaving the hospital, she saw this field, some airplanes flying with 2 people in it, both being colored. She stopped to find out what was going on, and what was happening was what they called at that time a CPT program, Civilian Pilot Training Program, which had nothing to do with the war. There were 4 Negro colleges, this being one, that had a program of developing pilots, but it had nothing whatsoever to do with the war. And that's when she took the ride in this airplane that's behind me, which is a Piper Cub. The instructors here in that CPT program, all Negro instructors, actually Negro pilots, actually started in the 20s. But here it is now, probably 1940, early 41. The Secret Service had advised Mr. Anderson, Charles Alfred Anderson, lovingly called the chief, if she asked you to take her for a flight, don't you do it? So the way he would tell it to us, he said when she said, I'd like to go for a ride, he looked at the Secret Service, then looked at her and said, well, she's the boss. So she climbs in. She took off and left the pattern. And as he said, when you left the pattern, the Secret Service went to the phone and called her husband, the president, Franklin D. Roosevelt, hey, your wife is up flying with these black guys down here. Well, we weren't called black then. And they left the pattern. But Chief, and I have this on videotape, where she enjoyed the flight, wanted to know if the airplane could go to Montgomery. He said, sure. And he said, I can take you anywhere you want.
Noted as the first black American to brave into this new frontier, to build his or her own aircraft, to earn a pilot's license. Listed as United States Pilot number 105, Emery Malik is commonly known as the first licensed black aviator via census of numerous historians. Welcome to the Melanated Wings Collection, presented by Better Endeavors, LLC. This week's episode, Volume 1, Episode 1, describing the career of Emery Malik, known as United States Pilot number 105 and the first known black licensed aviator. Born December 29, 1881, in 7 Points, Pennsylvania, Emery spent his childhood and early adulthood as a carpenter along with his father, Darius Malik. This included in constructing the Capitol building in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which remains standing today. He ingeniously built his own airplane beginning in the summer of 1911. His first flight attempt on July 21st, 1911 was unsuccessful. His first successful flight was 3 days later on July 24th, 1911. He was the first known aviator in central Pennsylvania. Malik earned
Good afternoon, everyone. We want to get ready to get started with the program. I know we're running a couple minutes behind. We just want to make sure that people had an opportunity to come in. My name's Melvin Payne. I'm the president of Greater Philadelphia Chapter Tuskegee Airmen. I wanted to welcome you all to our Scholarship Gala and fundraiser. To start off the program, there's a couple things that I wanted to explain to you. There's a table in the middle in the other room, and you'll get an opportunity to go back out there. On the side closest to me are raffle items. So those are the ones where you buy the raffle tickets, you put different tickets in the different cups, and then we'll make selections later in the program. On the other side of the table, there are auction items. The auction items include 7 trips. Some of the people think that the prices include one person, but some trips, the price includes 2, some trips includes 4, and one trip, I believe it includes 6. So the price you see is for the total number of guests, not individually. I just want to explain that to you. We'll get an opportunity for you to go back out and look at the auction items and raffle items before we draw them at the end of the program. At this time, I want to bring forward let me do one other thing first. So I want to let you know, for those that don't realize, we have been blessed, and we have in our presence 4 original Tuskegee Airmen. 5 original Tuskegee Airmen. At the far table in the front, and you'll get a chance to meet them, we have Miss Callie Gentry and Mr. Nathan Thomas. At the table next to them, we have Dr. Eugene Richardson. Miss Callie Gentry was a stenographer. Mr. Nathan Thomas worked in communications. He was a communications director. Dr. Richardson was a fighter pilot. In the table, behind them, closest to the curtain, we have one gentleman that I'll come back to. But he's a pretty unique person that you'll want to be able to see. But I want to first introduce you to our guest of honor. Our guest of honor is Judge Robert W. Williams, Jr. Judge Williams was a Commonwealth judge and also a Tuskegee Airman navigator bombardier. So he worked as a bombardier navigator. So we're going to talk more about him later. And the other gentleman... The other gentleman I wanted to hold off a little on, this is kind of special. We weren't sure he'd be able to be with us, and I'll talk about their ages. They'll get me in trouble, but I'll talk about it a little bit. His name is Roscoe Coach Draper. Roscoe Draper, at 23 years old, taught the pilots how to fly. Roscoe Draper today is 104 years old. On May 14th, 2024, Roscoe Draper will be 105 years old. So we are blessed, and the reason why I say we're blessed is because the youngest that I talked to you about, and I won't give all their ages out, the youngest Tuskegee Airman that we have present is 97. The oldest is Coach Draper, who is 104. And our guest of honor, he'll probably get mad at me, but our guest of honor is 100 years old. I keep asking them, I said, what's your secret? Because I don't know. I feel like I'm falling apart, and I'm a lot younger than them. But they have this ability to continue to go on, and one of the things that they've always told me is you have to keep moving, and you have to keep your mind alert. They are prolific readers, and they're always active. But I won't take up all the program. At this point, I want to bring up to the stage Mr. Albert Eel, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
We all know the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. So those who can stand, please stand. and you can recite with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two. Thank you very much. And that was for all of those who are here and those in uniforms that are still defending our country. Thank you.
So as we move forward, I have one other thing. I'm going to bring up Ms. Shonda Taylor Boyd, who will lead us in the national anthem.
May you please stand to your feet. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the rampart we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Okay, we're now going to give you a chance to settle in for a little bit, and I'm going to bring forth Colonel White, who will lead us in the dedication or celebration of the missing in action and POWs.
Out front to my left is the POW MIA table. The table is a way of symbolizing the fact that members of our profession of arms are missing from our midst. They are unable to sit with us today. So we remember them for their ultimate sacrifice and their dedication to a grateful nation. This table is set for one as a small symbol of the frailty of one soldier alone against his oppressors and the singular life given in defense of our nation. The tablecloth before you, it's white, symbolizes the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. The placemat, POW, it's black, symbolizing the darkness and mourning we felt as our comrade fell in battle. The white candle symbolizes the light of hope. The single red rose symbolizes the families who love and keep faith for the men and women who serve. The red ribbon on the vase symbolizes the memory of the search for those missing in action. The clear wine glass symbolizing the fact that the fallen soldier won't be able to participate in the toast at an event. The slice of lemon on a small plate symbolizing the bitter loss of life by fallen soldiers. The spilled salt on the bread plate symbolizes the tears shed for the soldier who is missed. And the empty chair symbolizing the missing soldier. Let us remember today that all gave some and some gave all, so that we could have freedom and democracy in this country. So on behalf of all the military personnel, we salute POW MIAs. Order, arms. God bless you. God bless the Tuskegee Airmen, and may God continue to bless the United States of America.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to continue to move on with the program. I know you think I'm doing the MC. I am not. You've heard enough from me already. I want to bring forth Jack Williams, who will be the MC for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you, everyone, for being here today in this ceremony. There are two reasons you've come. This chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen, we have two goals. The one goal is to continue the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen. And if you think about that, there were 992 pilots back in World War II that were part of the Tuskegee Airmen experience. There were approximately 15,000 support personnel. That includes administration, medical, as well as maintenance, and on and so forth. That's almost 16,000 individuals as part of that organization that supported, at the time, 139 million Americans. Think about that, 16,000 that had a significant impact on the freedom of 139 million Americans. I think that deserves an applause. And then the second reason is what your contributions hold today is to carry it forward for our young folks, our young adults as they pursue their careers. And so that's our second goal within this organization. I'd like to start off, as we go into partaking in our dinner, we'll bring Reverend Murphy to the podium to give us our invocation and blessing of the food. Reverend Murphy.
Shall we pray? Gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this auspicious occasion, for this opportunity to gather, Lord, to honor and to celebrate these heroes, the Tuskegee Airmen and women. We thank you, Lord, for their sacrifice. We thank you for their courage. We thank you, Lord, for how they shared their wisdom. Lord, we thank you even for their illustration and demonstration of humility. And today, Lord, we give you honor, but we also honor them and thank them sincerely for not only impacting those 139 million, but all of the generations that have come behind. And now, Lord, we ask a special blessing on this food which we are about to receive, and some have already begun to receive. We ask, Lord, that you would use it to nourish our bodies, Lord, and continue, Lord, to use us in your service, that we might be a shining example and ambassadors for your Son, Jesus the Christ. And it's in his name that I pray, and for his sake, let us all say, amen.
We'll now proceed with our tribute to Honorable Robert W. Williams, Junior. Mel. You contribute?
Good afternoon. My name is J.R. Brockman. I've been given the distinct honor and pleasure of introducing my friend and hero, the Honorable Judge Robert W. Williams, Jr. On July 3rd, 1923, Robert Wesley Williams, Jr. was born in Providence, Rhode Island, to Robert W. Williams, Sr. and Ada Acosta Williams. The only son of 4 children, he entered into military service with the United States Army Air Force on April 19, 1945. As a Tuskegee Airman, he trained at Hondo Army Airfield in Hondo, Texas, as a navigator with military specialty 1034, with cross-training in navigation, aerogunnery, and bombardier school. According to his military records, he could pinpoint an airplane position by reference to maps and other visual means, navigated aircraft by celestial means and determined position by radio, fixed, sent, and received radio code and visual blinker signals, was proficient in the calibrating and the ground swinging of compasses, calibrated airspeed meter, ground compasses, and other equipment, and had thorough knowledge of the metro or the geographic location of airfields, and the firing and handling of flexible and power terror-operated machine guns. With the ending of World War II, on September 2nd, 1945, Flight Officer Robert W. Williams, Jr., Army serial number Tango 145158, was released from military service as a member of the 2nd of the 134th Army Air Force Base Unit at Westover Field, Massachusetts, on November 19, 1945. After military service, he attended both Howard and Boston University, where he obtained his law degree. In 1952, in Philadelphia, he began his legal career with his prestigious law firm of Norris, Smith, Green, Harris, and Higginbotham, the first black law firm in the city. As a member of the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office, where he was a trial attorney, he was the first black chief of the homicide unit from 1958 to 1963. In 1969, he was named to the Common Pleas Court of Philadelphia County. In 1970, he was elected as the first black attorney to be seated as a judge in the court. In 1980, he was elected to the Commonwealth Court of Pennsylvania. He was the 13th judge to serve the court and the first African American to do so. The Commonwealth Court of Philadelphia is the second highest court in the state, just below the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court. Father of 4, grandfather of 6, he has 7 great-grandchildren. They say behind every great man stands a great woman. In our community, we like to say, beside every great man stands a great woman. He married the lovely Julia Watson, now Mrs. Julia Williams, in 1988. In 2007, he was presented the Congressional Gold Medal by President George W. Bush for being one of the original Tuskegee Airmen. A member of the African Episcopal Church of St. Thomas in Philadelphia, the first black Episcopal church in the USA, founded in 1792 by the Reverend Absalom Jones, now led by the 17th rector, the Reverend Canon Martini Shaw. On July 2nd, 2023, the congregation held a celebration for his 100th birthday. Ladies and gentlemen, I have just given you a very short and brief introduction to my friend and hero, the Honorable Judge Robert W. Williams, Jr.
With the family come, his wife, the family. Hey, Judge William, would you just stay right there? And Bronson, would you stay right there? Okay. We have the Greater Philadelphia chapter. We just want to give you some tokens, some things of memory here. And one of the things that we have is a holograph with his World War II picture and also his dog tags when he was in service. And the designer is in here today, and I'm going to ask her to stand, Tanya Gordon and her son, Xavier Gordon. I just want them to stand up, please. Wave your hand, I don't see you. Okay, see back there. Mel, could you just take the holograph out so he can see it? No, roll it out, roll it out. Okay, roll it out. It's a picture of Judge William, and could you push the back of the button there? It changes colors. Push it one more time. Push it one more time. And it blinks too. So the name of the company is Remember Me, located in Allentown, New Jersey. Tanya Gordon and her son are the CEO and the designer of this. So this is a token that we want to give to you. Don't leave yet. It's not over.
We have some more items. We need the family to stay there because
We would like the Alpha to stand up, please. This fraternity brother. They're here to support you.
yes.
That's the truth. All Alphas in the room. Please stand up.
Thank you. In addition, I'll just do some brief comments. We have some resolutions. One was sent to you, Judge, from Governor Josh Shapiro. It says, in honor to welcome everyone gathered for the Greater Philadelphia Chapter Tuskegee Airmen Annual Scholarship Gala. During the time of the Jim Crow and racial segregation in the United States, the Tuskegee Airmen fought to defend the country with extraordinary courage and distinction, despite discrimination both militarily and civilian life. We are forever indebted to the selflessness service these individuals have demonstrated to the people of this great nation. So we'll present that to you. And also, you can't leave yet, City Council of Philadelphia sends a resolution. Whereas the Tuskegee Airmen Day is a significant day of recognition, celebrating the lives of service of the Tuskegee Airmen and the people who assisted in supporting them. The City of Philadelphia proudly recognizes the service sacrifices made by Tuskegee Airmen and acknowledge the work of the Greater Philadelphia Chapter, appreciating the efforts made in memory of these Tuskegee Airmen. So I didn't read the whole thing, but this also is for you. And you can't leave yet. You can't leave yet. I need you to turn around, face the audience. So, so it's one thing when you give people messages from council people and the governor, but it's another thing when you're able to honor them by giving them something that lives and talks about their history forever. There's a young man named Justin Lockley. His mother, please stand, is here, Lisa Lockley, who worked with us and the family to put together a memorial for Judge Williams for his Army, or his Tuskegee Airman service. Aaron Watkins has a picture. Judge, it shows you in front of B-25 plane. This young man paints paintings that look like photographs. We want to make sure that you have this, that you can place on your wall in your room that I was fortunate enough to visit, that it will live with you forever. Thank you so much for your service. Thank you for everything you've done for all of us. Take care.
There's a lot of history in here, a lot of history. As we move on with the program, we'd like to, as Mel said earlier, salute to Roscoe, Coach Draper. And before we have an announcement by Dr. Richardson, we'd like to show a short video.
This week, America celebrates a country founded on the self-evident truth that all men are created equal. One segregated World War II pilot chose to fight fascism abroad even as he fought racism at home. As a member of the legendary Tuskegee Airmen, Michael Hill has his story.
In fact, I wanted to be an auto mechanic. And while I was there, I got the opportunity to fly airplanes.
100-year-old Roscoe Draper sharing his Tuskegee Airman journey with Congressman Josh Gottheimer. In the late 30s, Draper enrolled at Hampton Institute and then wound up at Tuskegee to train black pilots to fly the PT-17 Stearman, such as the model he's holding for World War II. Nicknamed the Red Tails, the Tuskegee Airmen had numerous combat successes and earned Purple Hearts and Bronze Stars and other honors.
I'm very happy that somebody realizes that was the case.
Draper says the segregated military denied him enlistment in 1942.
It seems that my color clashed with the color of the airplane.
For years, actually for decades, Draper's family thought he was only a civilian instructor. But just recently, his family discovered this piece of paper. It shows Draper enlisted in the Air Force in October 1942 and was honorably discharged in November 45. His daughter, Norma Crocker, carried the document to the DMV to get Draper a non-driver ID. That's where they encountered Bergen County Sheriff's Officer Timothy O'Hare.
They were questioning his paperwork.
Because the military went to two-page discharge papers in the mid-50s. So O'Hare, himself a military vet, took the document to a manager to expedite approval.
It's our duty and our obligation as veterans to look after one another. And I'll never forget, he had a hat on it. And when I said, "Did you know about the Tuskegee Airmen?" his eyes lit up. And from that point on, he was like an audio book.
O'Hare got the ball rolling for this. Congressman Gottheimer bestowing a specially minted Congressional Tuskegee Airman Medal on Draper.
The Tuskegee Airmen, as you know, certainly at the time for years did not get the credit they deserved. I'm glad that we have remedied that.
What do I think? I think it's great. I'm honored and very grateful.
Draper's a member of the greatest generation, a member who prepared black airmen to defend overseas what their own country denied them at home.
I thought it was horrendous that we were treated that way, but that was the way things were then.
He said sometimes getting there, he had to be careful about his transportation. Yes, there were hurdles that he had to have that we don't have today, but it didn't stop them. In fact, maybe sometimes it made them more determined.
Draper moved 5 years ago to live with Crocker in Bergen County. He's among the shrinking number of surviving Tuskegee Airmen and still earning medals for service decades later. Michael Hill, NJTV News.
Well, now, that one. We'll now have a salute by Dr. Eugene Richardson.
Where are you, Roscoe? Well, way over here. Well, Roscoe's going to be 105, and he gets around a little bit, but I have to have a wheeler to get around, and I have to have other people to help hold me up. But Roscoe's a fantastic guy, and they called him Coach because of his ability to inspire people. Coach Roscoe Draper, 105 years of age. I'm a youngster yet. I'm only 98, but I'm going to catch up with you, Roscoe. Keep going. Thank you.
Okay, we'll continue on with our program. Hopefully you're enjoying your dinner this afternoon. Continue with your dinner. As you finish eating, don't forget about the auction table and the raffle table, or the raffle that will occur later on this afternoon. As well as the ceremony will go on, we'll have our keynote speaker here shortly. We'll do the raffle, we'll continue with the scholarship, and we'll then have the silent auction. So enjoy.
What they're enjoying today is the result of how the black men, how Tuskegee Airmen performed during the war. President Bush saluted us and presented the Congressional Gold Medal. Now, on the front of the medal, there's the profile of, there are three profiles: a pilot, a mechanic, I guess an administrator. But then on the back are three of the airplanes that we flew. Then on the back it explains why this medal was presented. It says outstanding combat performance. inspired revolutionary reform of the armed forces. Now, that refers to the fact that in 1948, President Harry Truman, recognizing how well men of color performed in the military, and especially how well men performed as complicated stuff of handling flying airplanes. Harry Truman recognized that, and he saw that it was senseless to have a separate Air Force, a black Air Force and a white Air Force, when you could combine them and get the best of both groups. The performance of Tuskegee Airmen, guys that became known as Tuskegee Airmen. They disproved the lie that the military was existing on. In 1925, the United States Army War College at Carlisle Barracks in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, they issued a report which is supposedly the result of a study of the physical, psychological, and moral characteristics of the black man. And every negative that you can think of that you could possibly apply to a person was in that report being applied to the black man. And the military was basing its activities on that report. The black man was low on the scale of human evolution, if you could imagine. His brain was smaller than the white man's brain. The black man's brain weighed 35 ounces, according to this report, and the white man's brain weighed 45 ounces. And so the black man didn't have the capacity for as much as the white man had, according to this report. And that's the way the military was treating black men. When they finally decided that they would be training black men to be pilots, the whole world is concentrating on these men that are down at Tuskegee trained to be pilots. You know, they're going to measure up, they're going to cut the mustard, or they're going to, so far as the Army was concerned, it was an experiment. It was an experiment to prove that black men could not be combat pilots. 992 men finished the flying school at Tuskegee following the same curriculum that the white pilots follow, their bases. 992 guys finished at the flight school at Tuskegee. Single-engine fighter pilots, twin-engine B-25 pilots, and there were also navigators and bombardiers that were trained elsewhere, but they became part of the crews that were piloted by guys that came out of Tuskegee. And Tuskegee Airmen made it possible for the military to be desegregated. President Obama said he stands on the shoulders of Tuskegee Airmen.
I'd never been in the recruiting office before, but I knew that's what I wanted to do. My boy Jim was with me, and the guy flatly said, "You mean you want to get in the Army Air Corps?" "Oh, no. So I said, no. I want to get in the unit that does the flying." The guy looked at me for a while and said, "Sorry, we don't have any colored people in that yet." He said, "Believe your name and number. If anything changes, we'll let you know." I said, "Never mind, and forget that." But that's how fast I preferred to get connected. However, and I persisted at that approach, not to the same place, but got a few people stirred up. We used to deliver papers and stuff for the Tribune, the black paper, and we got them a little interested, but been flatly turned down. Because the guy said, "Well, we got some other nice positions." I said, "I want no nice position, I want to fly." And it so happened, I persisted. Things began to change. There was more pressure from the black community. Make a long story short, lo and behold, I got a shot. There was going to be an examination held at this Bank Reserve building on a certain date, which was close by, for people who wanted to apply to get in the Air Force. Paid attention. But lo and behold, they called my name and told me I could go to 32nd and Lancaster. That meant I had gotten over that hump, I'm in. Now you go there, because from that point on they send you to get your physical. You're not accepted yet. You're accepted from the written exam. It means you can go, they don't waste time. If you do, then you can go to the physical. Well, that's a pretty good sign. That don't mean you're going to pass the physical, but it's not going to write you off like you didn't pass the first one. Make a long story short, I went that far and I never looked back.
A little small school in Middlesbrough, Kentucky, and it was all black school, and our teachers found out that the United States was looking for young girls to send to nursing school, and they only approached the white schools. And the black teachers found it out and told the mothers, and the mothers approached the superintendents of the white schools and said, why you haven't applied and inquired for black girls to go to college and to join the United States Cadet Nurse Corps. And they had to scrapple and find out, and so then they did notify the black mothers. My mother was one in attendance to go before the superintendent, and they said found out they could only allow 10 black women to go, black girls to go. So my mother personally put me in. So 10 of us went to Tuskegee under the program of United States Cadet Nurse Corps. Black history wasn't taught. And so now when you see the children and they see, oh, Tuskegee, oh, what was that? They don't have size either. Not only the children, some of the grown-ups don't even know anything about it. So actually, maybe it's not too late, but they should know about it, you know. Now we're getting recognized by the white. Every time we go into this restaurants and stuff now, the whites seem to be concerned now and apologize. When we go to these restaurants and stuff like that, the whites come to us and say, oh, we really thank you all. We're late, but we really appreciate what you did. Now, we went to Reading Airport once, had an exhibit out there, and one white guy came up in a wheelchair. He was just as old as we were. And he had his grandson pushing him. And this white guy was crying, this old man was crying. And he wanted to shake Tuskegee Airman's hand and apologize for ignoring them. He said, I was in the bomber. This white guy was in the bomber. And he saw these black pilots with the red tails flying around them, shooting and knocking down the German planes so they, with the bombers, could get through to bomb Germany. And he said, I saw you all. He said, we are so sorry that we didn't acknowledge you all. If the kids could learn now and use this and go forward and stop playing in the streets and shooting and killing each other and try to become something. So this is the reason why we try to go out so people can see, and especially our kids could see. You know, I belong also to the Now Swim Club, and it's the only black swim club that we have that's in the United States. And we got kids now that's coming there. So pays to help your own. If they could just get it now and try the best to form themselves as a national group of blacks and become something and make us proud.
And I was not interested in aviation because I knew it was a very expensive thing to learn to do. And my limited resources didn't give me any idea that I'd ever be a pilot. So I wasn't interested in aviation. But Charles Alfred Anderson and Dr. Forsyth, in spite of a 1925 Air College report that said that black people didn't have what it took to learn to fly airplanes, Charles Alfred Anderson and Dr. Albert Forsyth from Atlantic City went around the country with their goodwill flash, showing everybody that in spite of what they said, black people had the same intelligence as anybody else and could learn to fly airplanes as well as anybody else. They proved that they could do what people had said they couldn't do. They were able to fly airplanes and make records. They had records of escorting bombers to the targets where other escort pilots had left them to be shot down by the enemy. And in so doing, the Tuskegee Airmen were able to prove that they had as much stamina and guts as anybody else. And I've heard reports and read reports of how much they respected the Tuskegee Airmen, because for a long while they were being escorted by the airplanes that had the red tails. They had no idea they were being flown by black pilots. And the guys in those red tail airplanes were the ones who stayed with them to the target and back. And they were recognized for so doing. And D.O. Davis said if they didn't stay with their bombers, he would have them court-martialed. And they knew he would. And so they stayed with the bombers, escorted them to the target and back. Learn as much as you can about as much as you can. And someday you'll be able to use what you learned to an advantage that you wouldn't have otherwise. The technology that's being used nowadays is such that you can go almost anywhere you want, learning, if you've learned what you need to learn to get there.
Miss Eleanor Roosevelt came down to Tuskegee. She went up with one of the better pilots, and that was her mission, to find out if we could fly. She found it out. She told her husband, and this is how Tuskegee Airmen were known. Did you know we had different skills? Afro-American men had a lot of different skills than all the other races at that point in time. We helped to build this United States. We invented a whole lot of patents. You know all about that. We had skills for mechanisms, motorisms. We knew how to put old planes together, make them work. That's all we had until the day we would go to Italy, Berlin. We got new planes, brand new. The guys knew how to handle them like they were toys, with the red tails on them, maneuvering around those Messerschmitts and those other planes Germany put up there. We could do all the things. Didn't lose too many bombers, B-17s, B-25s. We never lost anything. A few men. That's to be expected. This is the war. Everybody's not going to come home from the war. So that's the situation with that. My most vivid memory of Tuskegee was when Colonel Benjamin O. Davis Jr. came in, and he took control of that base, and seeming like it was some place where we wanted to be, like it was not like the Army, it was like a great college or big institution for learning. That's where we were, men from all over this country, California, you name it. We had great minds back there. Guys weren't kept left back. That was our mission in this country, was to learn, let the men learn something other than what we were held back for. My advice to my Afro-American men and women that are in the schools, learn about get a better education, take math and science, learn to do English, be a great student, be the best that you can be in any situation.
Tuskegee Airmen.
It's more than 60 years since these men answered the call to serve from a segregated America. Today, some 200 surviving members of the Tuskegee Airmen and their families were at the Capitol to receive the nation's highest civilian honor, the Congressional Gold Medal. Almost 1,000 black combat pilots were trained in a segregated unit at the Tuskegee, Alabama Air Base. Hundreds saw combat in Europe, the Mediterranean, and North Africa. They flew thousands of sorties, escorting bomber aircraft with unusually few losses. Dozens died in the fighting, many shot down and held as prisoners. Today, Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, praised them in the Capitol Rotunda.
In 1942, the African-American paper, the Pittsburgh Courier, called for a double victory campaign. Victory in the fight against fascism abroad and victory in the fight against racism at home. Today, we come together to pay tribute to the Tuskegee Airmen, who with planes and the power of their example, fought against both of these foes, foreign and domestic.
They also heard from a man who followed in their footsteps and gladly acknowledged his debt, former U.S. Army General and Secretary of State Colin Powell.
But I know to the depth of my heart that the only reason I'm able to stand proudly before you today is you stood proudly for America 60 years ago. The question is begged, why? Why would we do this for all of these years? Why would we serve a nation that would not serve us? Two answers, I think. One, notwithstanding what they had put in the Constitution about us being property, we still believed in the vision that the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution set forth for the kind of America that could be in this new land. We believed in that. We had to believe in it. What else would we have to believe in? And the other reason, I think, is that military service, laying down your life for your country, was about the only way in which, for so many years, blacks could demonstrate that they were equal to any white citizen.
Then it was President Bush's turn.
I would like to offer a gesture to help atone for all the unreturned salutes and unforgivable indignities. And so on behalf of the office I hold and a country that honors you, I salute you for the service to the United States of America.
Dr. Roscoe Brown spoke on behalf of the airmen.
When over 60 years ago, we were flying in the skies over Europe, defending our country, and at the same time fighting the battle against racial segregation. And because of our great record and our persistence, we inspired revolutionary reform in the armed forces, which led to integration in the armed forces in 1948, and as the President said, provided a symbol for America that all people can contribute to this country and be treated fairly. We are very, very pleased to have been in the forefront of this struggle for freedom and justice in this country. And Mr. President, we are so proud today, and I believe America is proud today. Thank you very much.
The actual gold medal will go to the Smithsonian Institution for display. Individual airmen will receive bronze reproductions.
our initiative, we're reaching out to people in the 5 counties of Philadelphia to ask you if you have any family members, or believe you have any family members, that were part of the Tuskegee experience from 1941 to 1946 at the Moulton Field Air Base. If so, we'd like to help you locate, identify, and honor these people, as they should be part of American history. Log on to our new website, which is www.phillyredtails.org. Hit our Contact Us button and send us some information regarding your suspected family member you believe that might be a part of the Tuskegee experience. We will help you locate, identify, and honor these people as American patriots as they should be. Thank you very much, and have a good day.
Is everyone enjoying their dinner this afternoon? I hope. couple of administrative items I'd like to bring to your attention. On everyone's table, you will see a QR code. That QR code allows you to donate to the Tuskegee Airmen, our scholarship fund. Just want to let you know that this organization is all volunteer. So 100% of what we obtain goes back out to the students for these scholarships. We're always looking for volunteers, so if anyone's interested, please see one of us and we'll get you moving in the right direction. Secondly, the auction will close, the signing up at the auction table, that will close at 5:45. So keep that in mind if you're interested in in bidding on one of the auctions out there, please do so during this time period. And next we'll move on with our program with our keynote speaker, Dr. Joe Pond. I met him earlier today. He said, call him Dr. Joe, or Dr. J, was that it? Dr. Joe, okay, Dr. Joe. And Aaron, come on up and introduce him.
I would like to acknowledge Dr. Joe Pond's family, his sister, and his brother-in-law. Would you please stand and hold your hand up? Okay. You know what? I really have a tough task today. As I look across the audience here and I look at everybody, I have, you know what they told me to do? To give you a test. Then they changed the word test to quiz. So that means it's quick, okay? So you have to take a black military history quiz. But I'm glad you have eaten, so continue to eat. Please do not leave the room. Now, this quiz, there's some questions here. And whatever name you come up with, and I can't see the quiz myself because I'm the teacher, I'm not supposed to see it. Okay, but this person was on active duty at the time. All of these people were on active duty. So if you look up on the screen, the quiz should be there. It's not? Fred. Well, technical. I'm prepared. I want you to know that. I've done these 1,000 times, and I always have my little sheet here. So the first quiz, without it being up there. Name the first black Savannah, Georgia City chess champion. Think about it to yourself. You don't have to say it out loud. If you know, hey, I hear one voice, okay? Next question. Okay, the first question is, name the first black Savannah, Georgia City chess champion. That's question number one. Question number two, name the first black 3rd U.S. Army 1 meter and 3 meter champion. See, I live in Georgia, I know this, okay? Question number three, name the first black U.S. Coast Guard direct commission aviator. I know that one because I flew helicopters myself. Okay. Name the first black U.S. Coast Guard all-Navy judo champion. I don't know that one, okay? But I want him as my partner, okay? Name the first black Florida State District AAU judo champion, twice undefeated. Wow, I want to meet this person. Name the first black Florida gubernatorial appointee, twice. Name the first black U.S. Army Command and General Staff College graduate as a U.S. Coast Guard, lieutenant, junior grade. Okay, everybody took the quiz? Now, because we have technical difficulties here, on the screen we're supposed to pop up a picture of the person to verify that this particular person or these people, now I'm gonna say this particular person did all of this. So we do have pictures, but we got technical difficulty, we'll move on. Now, I would like to say this person was in the CIAA division, and he was a pole vault champion at the CIAA as a competitor. He also participated in the pin relay thing as a pole vaulter also. Now, by now you may have some idea. You passed the test. You're good. So I have the honor today to really introduce to you our guest speaker. He met all of those qualifications. His name is Dr. Joe Pons. As he come forward. He's a graduate of Morgan State College, University. It was college back then, it's a university now. Not only that, he graduated with his master's degree from USC. He holds a doctorate in divinity. He's from Beverly Hills, Florida. Now, I don't know how many people in this room is from Baltimore. Hold up your hand. Anyone from Baltimore? Well, he grew up in Baltimore. Let me just tell you that. So I'm going to move to the side, and I'm going to let him tell you his story. Dr. Joe Pons. Trying to get the computer here. We have a PowerPoint. It seems like a complete job.
There he is. Gus, Joey just went in there.
Good evening, everyone. My. Beautiful group out there. Is it up there? Okay, because like Ern said, we always have backup. I don't have anything in writing, but since I wrote it, I want to know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Absolutely. And thank you so much, Ern, for that introduction. I mean, after hearing that, I can hardly wait to hear myself talk. I'm kind of lost for words. It is good to be here. First of all, let me get my thanks out of the way because I am most grateful to have been asked to be here with you, to share a few words. And I want to be brief this afternoon, but at the same time, I want to be thorough. And so there are a lot of things that I would like to share with you, but I can't. We've got a program to follow, and I'm going to honor that time. And so therefore, we're looking at about 18 minutes or so. And first of all, I want to acknowledge the Tuskegee Airmen, those of you who are in the room, that we're celebrating, we're honoring, and being a combat aviator, I too stand on the shoulders of those individuals. As a matter of fact, there cannot be a conversation about black aviators in the military without bringing up those who were before us. Absolutely. And so I want to acknowledge them even now, thank them for their service. And then also want to share with you basically how I got here. I want to take you on a journey this afternoon, a journey that will cover a lot of things, some things that you've already seen, you know, but at the same time, even as it will be a reminder, it's good to be reminded of some things sometimes. And so I will remind you of a few things. And then I also want to share with you some things that you probably are not aware of, that you don't know, and then kind of move from there. And we're going to do it all in 18 minutes. Amen? All right, there you go. Okay, so while they're getting the thing together, let me just share with you that my journey started when the doctor told me that I had 5 months to live. I said, okay, that's serious. I want a second opinion. And so I got a second opinion. Okay, second opinion come back, and lo and behold, it confirmed the first opinion. 5 months to live. I said, okay. And then I remembered Philippians 4, 6, and 7. It said, don't worry about a thing. But by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And the peace of God, which is beyond human understanding, will guard your mind and your heart. So I ain't worried about a thing. I just talked to the Lord and I asked him, I said, okay, what would you have me to do? Because I had pretty much done everything that I've ever wanted to do in life, been places where I ever wanted to be and so forth. And the bottom line is that I didn't have a bucket list. I didn't have a sand pail list, nothing. And so I gave it all to the Lord. What would he have me to do? And he impressed upon me that I should do something that I had never done before. And that is write about my experiences as a combat helicopter pilot in Vietnam. Okay, I started writing. And before I knew it, 5 months had passed. I kept writing. Before I knew it, a year had passed. I kept on writing. 2 years had passed. 3 years, finally. 3 years. And the book was published. Yes. And so then I said, well, what now? I'll go to be with the Lord in glory. What now, Lord? He says, now you tell your story. Now you tell your story. So I traveled all around the state of Florida. I happened to be a life member as well as president of the Vietnam Helicopter Pilots Association of Florida. And we traveled around the different events throughout the state. A lot of them are related to veterans events, sometimes 4th of July celebrations and so on. And so I did that. And then as I traveled, I would share my story. But more importantly, I found out that people were actually interested in knowing about the Vietnam War. You see, the Vietnam War was a very, very terrible time in this country. The years 1961 to 1975. Bad time in America. You think the protests that are going on today were something. Back then, they were something else. Because they were not confined just to college campuses. As a matter of fact, every college campus, more than 200 in the United States at that time, there were demonstrations against the Vietnam War. Plus, they were protests in the streets. All of that was going on. It was ugly. Terrible time in America. And lo and behold, when you came back from Vietnam, those who went over, and you came back, you weren't the same as when you went over. It just was not the same. And as such, people protesting the war had no interest in knowing anything about what was going on in the war. As a matter of fact, you get home, there was no welcome home, soldier. There was no thank you for your service. As a matter of fact, on the contrary, individuals will throw things at you, they spit on you, they called you names. That's the way it was. And so we didn't say a whole lot, those of us who were in the war. Nobody wanted to hear it, and it was okay with us because we really didn't want to tell it. And then 40-some years later, we crossed paths with individuals who we actually served with, and lo and behold, I discovered that there was a fellow that was in the same unit. We were together in the same unit and didn't know it. Because when we got back from Vietnam, we didn't talk about our experiences in Vietnam. We just let it go. And so finally, some 40 years later, we find that all of a sudden, people were interested in hearing the story because they had relatives that served in Vietnam. Some brothers, some fathers, grandfathers, and so forth. And tragically enough, these individuals passed on. And they open up a cigar box and they find some ribbons and some medals and all. And they say, oh, we didn't know that Dad was in the service. We didn't know that they served in Vietnam. We didn't know that they flew helicopters. And so now they're anxiously trying to get information about their loved ones or schoolmates, those who had passed on. And they didn't have an opportunity to talk to them or share information with. And so, bottom line with that is that in my travels across the United States, sometimes, but mostly in the state of Florida, telling the story, I found that there were a lot of people who were interested in hearing it. And so that's one aspect. But then at the same time, I discovered some things. That the Tuskegee Airmen were the first black military pilots in U.S. history. And they need to be recognized. They laid the foundation for everyone else. They did some extraordinary things. As a matter of fact, I want to share with you basically 5 things, 5 observations that I made as a result of traveling around and talking to people. Just half a second. Looks like technology, okay, has come back into play. Can you see something up on the screen? Because I can't. You do? Okay. That's the book. Okay, the cover of the book anyway. The 600 MOL, Black Helicopter Pilots in Vietnam. Why 600 MOL? Because of the estimated 40 to 50,000 helicopter pilots in Vietnam from 1961 to 1975, only 600 MOL, more or less, were black. Less than 1%. So we were in a very unique group, if you would. And we have heard from people who have been in the service for 20, 30 years or so. And they never saw not one black person, not one black officer wearing silver aviator wings. Not one. And so as I mentioned already, I traveled around with the Vietnam Helicopter Pilots Association of Florida. And we have an aircraft on display, a couple aircraft actually, and we just share with individuals our story. And so when you get right down to it, some of those, okay, that we share with think that, well, it's Hollywood. There's nothing Hollywood about it, nothing at all. And we share with them the reality of war, and war should never be glorified at all. And so it was very possible, and oftentimes we were shot up as well as shot down. This aircraft belonged to a buddy of mine. He was flying it at the time. He was wounded, but he made it through. And then, as I began to share with young people especially and let them know that aviation is wide open to them. When I came along, it really wasn't an option. Counselors in school, they told me, said, well, you know, you can be a bus driver, you can be a teacher and so on, but not one time did they bring up the subject of aviation, that it was an option for me. And so when I was in college and I had an opportunity to fly, I took advantage of it. I said, well, flying? Yeah, sign me up, absolutely. The closest I'd ever been to an aircraft was like 35,000 feet when I saw them flying overhead. That was it. And so when I had an opportunity to fly, I took advantage of it. Yes, I did. And so I shared with everyone. I didn't care who it was, but if they were interested, I was interested in telling them. And as I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of people who have a connection with those who were in Vietnam for some reason or another, whether it was a parent or a cousin or whoever, and they wanted to know. They wanted to know what was going on in Vietnam, and especially from the aviator point of view. And so all these individuals, you know, that you see, including daughters of the American Revolution, ironically, how about that? Okay? Yeah. And they all had a story. All had a story. And you couldn't wait to get a copy of the book. And so when the Tuskegee Airmen came up, you know, the topic, that's when I began really looking into the situation. I said, wow, you know, okay, so they were the pioneers, and what made them who they were? What made them who they were? And I observed that, yes, they met the challenge. They did meet the challenge. For one thing, I know it's a disability. And when I say disability, I don't mean physical disability or mental disability, but a disability that was imposed upon them by society. Society says, you know, you got this disease, you got this thing that we can't handle. As a matter of fact, we don't want you near us. And so they enacted laws to keep the races separated. They did that, absolutely. And so in a public place, you had to wait in a certain place that was designated colored. And their disability was that they were born colored. Some of us have that same disability today. We're colored, see? And lo and behold, you know, separate facilities right down the line, absolutely. And then I think a gentleman on the picture, the video, said earlier that in 1925, the War College made a statement, and there it is. Blacks are a mentally inferior subspecies of the human race. Can you imagine that? That's the word that they put out, that we're not human. And I believe they said that because for them, it took away some of the guilt of the way that black folk, colored folk, back in the day, Negroes, were treated. And so they sold us like animals at auction blocks, in the marketplace, and they felt no shame whatsoever because they considered us less than human, no better than animals. Now, they also lacked the intelligence, leadership, or coordination to be pilots, much less fighter pilots. Wow. And that was a belief that they put out, and it continued down through the years. So secondly, I want to share with you about delight. So in spite of being mistreated and being discriminated against, nevertheless, there was some delight. What was that? Well, in 1939, President Roosevelt enacted an act. It was the Civilian Pilot Training Act, which became a program, and basically it involved allowing college students to become pilots, to earn a private pilot's license while they were still in school. And as such, there were 6 black colleges at that time that were included in this program. And that opened the door for the Tuskegee Airmen because one of the 6 colleges was Tuskegee. Yeah. So we begin to see a foundation being laid. So that was a delight, absolutely. And so that was 1939. And the other delight came when one of the schools, Howard University, had a student that graduated, and they tried to get into the military. And lo and behold, the military said, nope, we ain't having that, not here, not here. Lo and behold. And so he said, okay, and with the help of the NAACP, he sued. He sued the government and won. Absolutely. And that then opened the door for the Tuskegee Airmen then to get the pilot's license and go into military training. Yeah. So what a delight that was. And then following that, third thing I want to share with you is discovery. Here's what I discovered. Oftentimes we end the story right there. They were great in World War II. They flew planes, you know, they were fighter pilots and all the rest of it. And then we kind of stop and say, yay, you know, wonderful, outstanding. But I found out, what I discovered was that the Tuskegee Airmen also flew in the Korean War and in the Vietnam War. How about that? Well, it was an eye-opener for me anyway. And then I found out that this young fellow here that you see up on your screen, William Holloman, he decided that, you know what, I think I want to fly helicopters. And he went through helicopter school and he became the first black Air Force helicopter pilot in Vietnam. And then I discovered something else. Many of the Tuskegee Airmen, they went to the Air Force because the Army Air Corps became the Air Force. And they stuck with it and went on and flew after that. However, some remained in the Army. And one in particular, Lieutenant Colonel, and his name is Charles Drummond, and he's the fellow on the left. He stayed with the Army, and then following World War II, he went to helicopter school and actually flew helicopters during the Korean War and in Vietnam. And he became the first Tuskegee Airman, the first black helicopter pilot to command an aviation unit. He did that. He'd go out on a mission and he'd be commanding somewhere between 15 and 20 helicopters. They go to a particular location, pick up the troops, take them out to an area of operation, and of course when they got there, the troops would disembark, absolutely. And hopefully the LZ, the landing zone, was cold. In other words, no enemy there. But that wasn't the case always, because sometimes it was hot LZ, and they ended up getting shot up and shot down. Yes, they did. And then, of course, the aircraft had to be retrieved by one of our larger helicopters. So that's 3. 2 more to go. Descendants. The descendants of the Tuskegee Airmen, no, not by blood, but by courage and bravery. I found out that there was actually a next generation of Tuskegee Airmen. You see, during the Vietnam War, Tuskegee was asked to do it again. Provide America with some young folk who were willing to fly helicopters. They would be putting their lives on the line, knowingly so, because the life expectancy of a helicopter pilot in Vietnam was 30 days. And if they were to survive the 30 days, then guess what? They had another 11 months to go. Another 11 months. Tuskegee, will you answer the question? We know you can, if only you will. Will you provide for us, the next generation? And you got to let them know that not only are they subject to be killed within 30 days, but when they come home, they will not have a ticker tape parade. Nobody's going to welcome them home. Nobody is going to say thank you for your service. And not only that, but they still may be subject to sitting in the back of the bus, not being able to go to certain restaurants that they want or live in certain communities that they desire. Tuskegee, will you answer the call? Will you meet the challenge? My. And so Tuskegee said, by all means, we will do that. And so lo and behold, in 1966, the Army Aviation Department, or I should say the Army ROTC Department, started up a new program to train Army pilots, helicopter pilots in particular. And that class graduated the following year, 1967. It has been said that many are called, but few are chosen. And out of that first class, there were 3 who accepted the call, accepted the challenge. One went to Vietnam as a Huey pilot, combat assault pilot. One went to Vietnam as a gunship pilot. They flew the Cobra gunship. And a third went as a Chinook pilot. That was the one that you saw carrying the aircraft that had been disabled. And so those are the 3. And praise the Lord, they all came back. The gunship pilot was injured, shot down twice, 2 Purple Hearts. But they answered the call. They answered the call. And so those then were what I call the next generation. And those are not my words, but what Tuskegee offered that next generation was that they would have the exact same instructor as the Tuskegee Airmen of World War II, Chief Charles Anderson, the same instructor. Stayed on board for another 16 to 20 years, and he trained the next generation. And he said, words from his mouth, was that you are the next generation, and you are to pass on what you learned to others. Keep the legacy going. Keep it going. And so now here we are today. And just one other thing, number 5, the machine's not working again, so all you look at is number 4. But here's number 5. The word is deliverer. Tuskegee Airmen were delivered, if you would, from a lot of hostilities by one person, a person who can open doors that no man can close. And that is Almighty God. And God worked in and through his people to enable this whole thing to happen. Because what was going on behind the scenes was that, first of all, there was a young man by Lewis Adams who was born into slavery. And then in 1865, when the war was over, he went to a little place called Kentucky. Excuse me, not Kentucky, but it was Macon County, which was the home of Tuskegee. And he had a trade, if you would, that everybody needed. So he was the most popular person and had the greatest influence in that community. And working alongside of a former slave owner, he was able to get a bill passed and signed by the governor of Alabama on January 4th, 1881, that created Tuskegee Institute. He was God's man at that time. He was Sunday school superintendent. He was a deacon in his church. He was uneducated, and he knew he could not run the institute, the brand new institute, Tuskegee, and so he communicated with a friend of his in Hampton, Virginia. It was a school called Hampton Institute for Negroes, and it was founded by the American Missionary Association. So we're talking about a Christian-based school. He says, I got a new school here in Tuskegee, but I don't have anybody to run it. Can you send me someone? And the answer was yes. I got the perfect person for you. As a matter of fact, the perfect person for you. And his name? Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Washington. Okay, technologies. I don't know about that technology. I'm old school. I just like to talk. I mean, we don't need the pictures and all that, but nevertheless. Okay, tell me how it works. So this is a copy of, well, the cover of my second book, because when I found out all these things about the Tuskegee Airmen, I had to write a second edition, update my book. I call it Tuskegee Glory. How about that? We okay? Okay. The Deliverer. There is Mr. Lewis Adams, and he was the founder, if you would, of Tuskegee Institute. And the fellow that was sent to him from Hampton Institute was Booker T. Washington. And Booker T. Washington was a very eloquent person, educator, and he was a go-getter. And at that time, he was the most influential black person around. He was it. He went on the road a lot of times, raising money for the school and so forth, and he was just simply outstanding. And he spoke about the races coming together, racial harmony, etc. And so he was the man. He was God's man. God's man. And so you're beginning to see, as I'm connecting the dots for you, that Almighty God was in this all the way. Yes. And then, by the way, you may have heard of a person by the name of White. This is what he said. The world has yet to see what God can do with a man fully consecrated to him. By God's help, I aim to be that man. If you know anything about the life of D.L. Moody, you know that it came true. The same Moody Institute that's in existence today. Okay? So I want to have this up here. Because God worked not only through his men, but he also worked through his women. Yeah. And so the world had not seen, until this lady I'm about to introduce you to, the world had not seen what God can do through a woman who is fully consecrated to him. And that woman, her life's mission was to be a missionary. She went to seminary for 7 years, followed by 2 years at Moody Institute. She had many of a conversation with Dwight L. Moody. And lo and behold, she was ready to share the love and life of Jesus Christ with the world. But unfortunately, her denomination said, no, we're not going to send you to Africa because you're black. And so she turned her attention somewhere else. And that kind of inspired her then, motivated her to begin moving in the direction of civil rights. The lady I'm talking about, God's woman, is this one. Mary Jane, clown, Bethune. And she was a go-getter. As a matter of fact, she was so good that the president decided to use her as an advisor. As a matter of fact, she went to the White House as the director of Negro Affairs. And as a matter of fact, she became best friends with the First Lady, Eleanor Roosevelt. And as a matter of fact, you remember we talked about 1939 when President Roosevelt signed into law the civilian pilot training program? Well, remember there were 6 black schools. Well, she was the only one under President Roosevelt that had a division wherein she controlled the finances. And so therefore she was directly responsible for those 6 schools, including the Tuskegee Airmen, Tuskegee Institute, for having the program. She was the one behind all that. She said that no way the white schools are going to take advantage of this program and there not be some black schools included. And so those 6 schools, one of which was Tuskegee, was her responsibility. So God's woman was at work even in the White House. And then there's another woman also that God used in a mighty way. I'm going to close with this one. First Lady, Eleanor Roosevelt. Well, what did she do? Well, when the Tuskegee program, Tuskegee Army Airfield, began to expand and they needed some more property, Moulton Field, which was named after the second president at Tuskegee, lo and behold, this lady right here, First Lady, was responsible for some of the funding to purchase the land that the airfield would be located. She did that. And then the second thing she did was she went down to Tuskegee and she flew with Chief Anderson. Now, I can't imagine her sticking her head out the window one morning, nice clear day, and saying to herself, you know, it's a wonderful day to fly with a black man. I can't imagine that. But I can imagine this, that one day, Sister Mary Jane, McLeod, of course, went to the White House, which was her usual custom, and she had a conversation with her sister. Hey, girl, how you doing? And they do a little fist bump with whatever the women did back in those days. And Sister Eleanor said, well, what was happening? And lo and behold, Sister Mary Jane said, well, I had a dream. Yes, go on. I dreamt that there was a black man flying an aircraft and there was a white woman sitting in the back. Sister Eleanor laughed. Oh, she said, the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. Sister Mary Jane said, well, yeah, of course. But if you think that's ridiculous, you know the white woman that was sitting in the back, she was you. She was you. And maybe just maybe, Almighty God put you in the White House at this particular period of time so that you can help to remove the racial stereotypes and racial hatred between the races. Maybe you're here for that very reason. And I imagine Sister Eleanor said, you know what? I think you're right. Tell my husband I'm going to be late for dinner because I got an appointment with a black pilot. And lo and behold, the rest is history. The rest is history. You see, God's men and God's women were working all the time, all along, because there is no way that the Tuskegee Airmen or anybody else could have come through all that racial hatred that we experienced back in the day. And I say we because in my lifetime, I experienced the same thing that the Tuskegee Airmen experienced. And so, again, let me close with this. They met the challenge. And so now the question is, will you meet the challenge? And so I'm going to challenge you right now to 3 things. First of all, I'm challenging you as far as time is concerned. Almighty God gives us, if you would, I don't know why I jumped ahead of time, but anyway, it was time. God gives us, if you would, 24 hours a day. That's 1,440 minutes. My challenge to you is that you spend 5 minutes, just 5 minutes of your 1,440 minutes a day, you spend 5 minutes in prayer. And you pray for all these Tuskegee Airmen. Pray for them all by name. 5 minutes a day. And I know some of us will watch TV, and during a 1-hour program, there's at least 5 minutes of commercials. Use that time to pray. When you wake up in the morning, first thing you see is daylight. You know God has blessed you with another day. 5 minutes. Doesn't matter to me, you know, what time of day you spend your 5 minutes. But my challenge to you is that you spend 5 minutes and you pray for these who are up here at the front, Tuskegee Airmen. You pray for the Philly Red Tails chapter of Tuskegee Airmen. You pray for the young people who need information regarding aviation. You pray for 5 minutes. That's my challenge to you, is to pray for 5 minutes a day for the rest of your lives. Secondly, as far as talents are concerned, everyone knows that God gives us talents, abilities, resources, etc. My challenge to you is that you donate 1 hour a month. Just 1 hour. That's it. We know that the Tuskegee Airmen, Philly Red Tails chapter, is calling for volunteers. And so why not from you? Think about what God has blessed you with, the number of hours in a month. Surely you can find 1 hour a month to volunteer your time, your resources, your talents, your abilities. And then finally, when it comes to treasure, think of what God has blessed us with. And I'm not even going to go there as far as an amount. That's between you and the Lord. But I challenge you to donate something, once a month to the Tuskegee Airmen legacy to help it to continue. And I want to finally say thank you. Thank you for having me to come and to share with you a few words. I thank you for helping me to meet the challenge. And I thank you again, not only for your presence, but I thank you for your prayers. May God richly bless you, and may God be with you. Thank you.
Before Jack come up here, let me just tell you, Dr. Pond's book, The 600 MOL, Black Helicopter Pilots of Vietnam, we have them in the back there. And you can come to the back, and we have the books there. And Chief Anderson taught me how to fly at the age of 19. And in his book, I do have a chapter in his book, and I do have 2 pictures there in his book. As he said, Chief Anderson always told his student, Air Force and Army, you are the next generation. And what I give to you, I want you to give to someone else to keep this legacy alive. And this is what the Greater Philadelphia chapter, Tuskegee Airmen, is really doing. We're doing it. The new birth, Brother Kinsley over there, he started in Harrisburg and got us started. We appreciate that. And now we have a commemorative Tuskegee Day in the state of Pennsylvania. So please stop by the back, and we have some books. Okay, we'll have some books out there. It's first come, first serve on the books. Okay. Okay, with that said, Jack. And the books will be autographed.
All right. Again, the books are out in the lobby area. If you're like to get a signed book to take with you, please do so. Next is time for the raffle. Denise, we're up. She's coming in. So Denise, are you out there? Your time. So while we're waiting on Denise to come up, I just want to reiterate that the silent auction ends at 5:45. Some of the items that we have out there to sign up for in the auction is we have Philly tickets out there. If you're interested, all you sports fans out there who are Philly fans, please look at that. We have an entire book collection of all the books we're selling at the table. We're auctioning off a full assortment of those books. In addition to that, we have an Amazon Kindle item out there, as well as we have destination trips. I don't know if you had a chance to see those out there. Some of the destinations, I think Mel talked about it, 4 nights in Walt Disney, and I don't know how many are tied with those 4 nights. It's multiple people, so take a look at that. There's 4 nights in St. Martin's, 3 nights in Havana, Cuba. So if you're looking for a long weekend, take advantage of that. Take a look at those. If you want a longer period of time out there, there's 7 nights in Tuscany, Italy. I believe that's on the northwestern coast of Italy, so that's a possibility as well. So take a look at those out there. And let's see, Denise, are you ready yet? She's working on it. So next person up, I won't hold your time. She'll come up when she's back. Oh, here she comes. Well, continue with your eating, and she'll be right up.
one little red ticket. And let me see. So our first prize, and we're going to ask Judge Williams to pull the ticket. Okay. So the first prize will be for the Mary Kay. All right. The first raffle prize will be for the Mary Kay. And that number is 180-3546. 180-3546. The next prize will be for the Tuskegee 2024, the swag bag with the, you got something from Dr. Pons, who gave us a t-shirt. And you're going to win a poster, our brand new poster of a pilot. So that one will be, Lisa will be pulling this ticket. And that number is 180-3544. 180-3544. Oh, great. Okay. So the next one will be for platinum fruit, and I'm gonna ask Rep. Kennedy, would you please be kind enough to pull the ticket? And this right here, ladies and gentlemen, it's a fruit basket that's made by a lady in North Philly. So you will have to go pick it up because these are just examples of her fruits, but they are actually delicious. I wouldn't have recommended her this stuff. You got 2 tickets there. They're connected. Okay. So on this ticket is 180-3833. 180-3833. And for the platinum fruit, when you come, you gotta see me because I gotta get your name and address so that I can call her and give her all your information that you will be coming to pick it up. Okay, so the next one will be for the gourmet popcorn basket. It's very good as well. Jenny, would you be kind enough to pull a ticket? Okay, this one is 180-3824. 180-3824. Popcorn? All right. This one will be for the $20 gift card. You need to see me because I have the gift card for this wine sip. No, would you be kind enough to pull this strap? I'm trying to give you people time enough to go bid on the auction, so you better go take a look. All right, this number is 180-3593. 180-3593. We have a $50 gift card. These still need to come see me for some of these. This is for the Sweet Spot Beauty Bar. Nice place. So remember Mother's Day and Father's Day right around the corner. So whoever wants this. Fred, would you do me a favor? I'm going to do the last three numbers of this one. 5, 4, 9. I'm only doing the last three numbers. 5, 4, 9. Okay. I'm doing the one that everyone has been trying to do, the 50-50. So you're guaranteed to win $50. And I'm not sure about what's on the raffle tickets, so I'm only going to call the last three numbers. 547. 547. This is for the 50 plus. Here we go, right here. Okay, check it out. And the last one is the night on the town, right at the restaurant, which is right next door. It's for 2. And the last three numbers are 836. 836. 1803836. Ladies and gentlemen, I do have one more thing to let you know. There is a little basket that should be something like this, or a silver one, or a little black one sitting on your table. We will be coming around, and whoever number that we pull out of that basket gets the centerpiece. So we will be walking around. So whoever's ticket is in the little basket will get the centerpiece if we pull it out. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. And now we'll move on. It's time for one of the major things we're here for, the scholarships. So we'll do our scholarship presentation. And just want you to know that kind of ran into a little issue here. Some of our students are preparing for finals, could not make it. Some of them are here. We kind of did a pivot on that, and those that could not make it, we asked them to do a small video for this evening in accepting their scholarship. To present them this evening, we've asked Rodney and James to come, James Thompson and Rodney Chandler to come to give those presentations.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? Tonight, sorry, you come to the part where this is part of the show what we call Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? I'm the host, James Thompson. So you've been exposed to a lot of history about Philadelphia, so let me give you a little bit more. So Philadelphia is a city known for a lot of firsts. We have the first zoo in Philadelphia, the first hospital. But many, many, many decades ago, something happened in Philadelphia that was very famous. There were a group of famous people who got together in a room and they fashioned a document that would signify their identity and their independence. Anybody know what that document was? All right, what was it? The Declaration of Independence? No, that's wrong, that's not. When I said many, many decades ago, not many, many centuries ago. So 5 decades ago, 50 years ago, in 1974, the charter for the Greater Philadelphia chapter was signed by 48 people. This year we're celebrating our 50th anniversary. And give us your applause right now. And more importantly, in that room 50 years ago to sign that document, we have some charter members here tonight that signed that document 50 years ago. One of those charter members was Dr. Eugene Richardson, a charter member of the Philadelphia chapter. Another charter member was Callie Gentry. And another charter member present tonight is our honoree, Judge Robert Wesley Williams, Jr. 50 years ago, and they're still doing it. And think about it, they had a speakers bureau 50 years ago, and they went out to talk to schools, colleges, and hospitals, and they're still doing it. So this is what we're about. History belongs to all of us. These are legends that we're honoring, and they're all Tuskegee Airmen. Now let's talk about the second group of legends we're here to honor. We have some students we're going to honor scholarships to. These are the students who picked up the mantle and they're carrying it further to achieve some great things. The first scholarship we're going to award is to, and I apologize if I get the name wrong, please correct me. Ryan, is it Winkler? Ryan Winkler. He is a student at Delaware State University. He's getting a $3,500 scholarship for leadership. Please come on down. We're going to give you an opportunity to say something. Come on.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, the main part tonight was honoring the Tuskegee Airmen. Before I start my actual speech, I would like to say I couldn't help but highlight how we honor them at Delaware State University. Most of our fleet that we fly are painted with the celebrate to honor the Tuskegee Airmen. We have a total of about 26 planes. Most of those planes are painted with red tails to signify, as you know, the red tails of the Tuskegee Airmen. We also have 2 fire arrows painted in the original library of the P-51 Mustang that you guys have been seeing. We also have a tail number 992, Delta Sierra, representing the 992 individuals in that, within the history of that Tuskegee Airmen. And then we also have, on the main campus, we have a plaza. It's called the Tuskegee Airmen Plaza that a lot of students walk through next to the library. It shows information about Tuskegee Airmen. I had no idea since when I went there, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Being here tonight, I'm really in awe of the greatness and the amount of history that we witnessed in this room tonight, and it's just amazing. It brings a different kind of honor to know every time that I fly one of my planes, we represent not just Delaware State, but also Tuskegee Airmen. I am deeply honored and grateful to stand before you today to express my heartfelt appreciation and generous scholarship awarded to me by the Greater Philadelphia chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen. This organization's commitment to education and the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen is not only inspiring, but also transformative for young individuals like myself. Receiving this scholarship is not just a financial assistance, but a symbol of recognition for my hard work, dedication, and aspirations. It serves as a reminder that perseverance and determination are rewarded, and that dreams are attainable with the support from our community. To the Greater Philadelphia chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen, I extend my deepest gratitude. Your belief in my potential fuels my motivation to excel academically and strive for excellence in all endeavors. Your investment in my education will not only impact my future, but also, allergies. I extend my greatest, or my deepest gratitude. Your belief in my potential fuels my motivation to excel academically and strive for excellence in all endeavors. Your investment in my education will not only impact my future, also the community I aim to serve. I would like to express my gratitude to Ms. Cox, Lieutenant Colonel Hales, Captain C.J. Charlton, and Lieutenant Colonel Bush, Delaware State University, and my family, who, with unwavering support and encouragement, have been instrumental in my journey thus far. Without their guidance and belief in me, this achievement would not have been possible. As I embark on this next chapter of my academic journey, I pledge to honor the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen by embodying their values of courage, excellence, and service. I pledge to honor the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen by embodying their values of courage, excellence, and service. I am committed to making a positive difference in the world and contributing to a future where opportunities are accessible to all. Once again, thank you to the Greater Philadelphia chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen for this incredible honor and for investing in the future of aspiring young leaders like myself. I am truly humbled and grateful for your support. Thank you.
So, before we give you your check and your certificate, we have something else we're going to give you. But in order to be a Tuskegee Airman, you have to have 4 Ds. You know that, right? We told that to a high school student. She said, well, wait a minute, I'm an all-age student. I can't bring home 4 Ds. My parents would kill me. The 4 Ds we're talking about are found on the back of the challenge one. Those 4 Ds are dream, desire, discipline, and determination. So you have the 4 Ds. Thank you very much. Go ahead and get your check. Thank you very much. Before we give the next award, I'd like to announce that the silent auction is not closed. The silent auction is not closed. The next student we're going to award is from Hampton University. His name is Taj Ryan. Taj won't be with us tonight. We did send in a video acceptance, which we're going to show. Taj is going to get the Administrative and Operations Award for a $1,000 scholarship. Do we have this video?
My name is Taj Young Brown. I am a student of one of the best HBCUs in the country, Hampton University. I am truly grateful to be given this speech for the Administrative and Operations Scholarship for the illustrious Greater Philadelphia Chapter Tuskegee Airmen. The Tuskegee Airmen represent excellence, determination, fortitude. Tuskegee Airmen, just be Morgan affirmed. We believe that if we worked hard and fought hard, we could accomplish anything, and we did. This was the President of the Tuskegee Airmen set forth for all future generations of African Americans, military citizens. I am a computer information systems major, and some statistics show that African Americans make up less than 10% of the field of computer science. I wanted to go to a field that I could enjoy and make money. I knew that computer information systems would be the right major that would afford me for various employment opportunities. I strive to be the best I can be. I strive to be a successful Black man in America. And I strive to not only to make myself proud, but to make my mother proud. Close, I'd like to thank you all for choosing me for this scholarship. I am truly grateful for this opportunity. I come from a single-parent household, and my mother is paying for the tuition all along. This will greatly help me for my education for Hampton University. And in closing, once again, thank you, and I'm truly grateful for this opportunity.
Big round of applause. Do we have anyone here to accept the awards on behalf of the squad? Anyone here? Come on down. Thank you. The next scholarship awardee is Bryson Downey. He's from Delaware State University. Also for the Administration Operations Award of $1,000, Bryson Downing.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. It's a little hard to follow up Taj and Ryan's wonderful speeches, but I'll do my best, all right? First off, I'd like to thank God for giving me the opportunity and the strength to get through all of the challenges aviation presents. And let's get into that speech, all right? Okay, so without a doubt, it is an honor to receive such a prestigious scholarship from the Greater Philadelphia chapter of this Tuskegee Airmen. I'm so very thankful that you guys have believed in me and supported me thus far. If you don't mind, I will start giving a list of a couple people I'm very, very grateful to have in my life. I'm going to start off with Miss Nathania. I'm extremely grateful that you've given me the opportunity to apply for the scholarship and it's given me enough support and led me all the way back in October of 2022 with your illustrious and legendary father. I'm a young, aspiring aviator who is attending Delaware State University, and I'm following the footsteps of the Tuskegee Airmen lead and foundation all the way back in World War II. His work as a Tuskegee Airman has inspired many, including myself, to pursue a career in aviation. With this scholarship in hand, I fully intend to continue my studies at Delaware State University, where I wish to finish my instrument rating by the end of May. Woo. I would also like to thank my mother and father for how much they've supported me financially and how much time and effort they put into my career thus far. My father's in attendance, along with my younger brother, Blake. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't be able to accomplish half of the things without my family and support system backing me every step of the way. So thank you guys very much, and I can't wait to accept this scholarship.
That's okay. That's okay. Hold on. You also get one of these.
Really?
Yeah. Sorry, you get one of these. There you go. Go get your scholarship.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next award goes to Zoe Hammond. She's from Syracuse University, and she's also going to get the $1,000 scholarship for administration operations. She could not be here, so she sent in an acceptance video.
My name is Zoe Newman, and as a recipient of the Administration and Operations Scholarship for 2024, I extend my sincere appreciation to the Greater Philadelphia chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen. This support will help me to further my academic journey at the Martin J. Whitman School of Management at Syracuse University, where I major in entrepreneurship and marketing. I am deeply committed to leveraging my education to contribute meaningfully to my community through leadership and dedicated service. Being recognized and supported by the Greater Philadelphia chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen is a distinction that I see as an incredibly special honor. Thank you again for the acknowledgement and support and opportunity to help me further my education at Syracuse.
Is there anyone here to accept the award for Ms. Hammond? Please come on. Come up. Since you already made your speech, I'm going to give you your 4 Gs and let you accept the award.
Thank you. Next order goes to Joshua Spivey of Mast Charter School. They're getting the Administration Operations Award for $1,000. Joshua Spivey.
I am honored to be standing before all of you this afternoon. I'd like to express my gratitude and thanks to my mother and father, who not only put me in this position to be speaking here today, but also always make the goal to put me in the best position to succeed. Without their unwavering support and encouragement, I can't fathom where I'd be at this point in my life, and for that, I'm very grateful. I would also like to give my thanks to the Greater Philadelphia Chapter of Tuskegee Airmen, as it is a blessing to be receiving such a wonderful award amongst all the well-deserving participants. This scholarship means a great deal to me, as my family and I have been attempting to earn additional funding for my education. The college scholarship is one that comes with great cost, and alleviating that cost is a high priority. I'd like to also give thanks to my scouting family at Nuns Tabernacle Baptist Church, and I'd like to thank Mrs. Nicole Fulton, who was one of the scouting leaders of my district, for helping me make sure my application was submitted on time. And it's a blessing that I came across this scholarship because this one has great meaning. To me, saying I earned the Tuskegee Airmen Scholarship means that I'm carrying a piece of important history with me as a source of power and motivation to find success at the next level of my life. Because I know that anything is achievable no matter the odds are great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And you also get one of these. Thank you. Thank you again. The next scholarship award goes to Mr. Cameron Peterson of Norwich University, $1,000 award for the aviation. I don't know if I should just a little bit more.
Good evening, everybody. I would first like to truly thank the Greater Philadelphia Chapter Tuskegee Airmen for this award. I would also like to give a special thanks to my parents and especially my grandparents, more specifically my grandmother, for staying on me for all these scholarship opportunities. Getting the scholarship means a lot to me in different ways. Going to college is not the easiest thing, especially military college, which I'm doing right now. I am actively pursuing an Air Force contract to hopefully become a pilot one day. So getting the scholarship in aviation is going to help me further my education and help me get a private pilot's license, which will ultimately improve my chances. Aviation has been a great part of my life. It's been something that I've been interested in for a long time, and I would just like to thank the Tuskegee Airmen for this wonderful opportunity and everything that they have given and the potential that they see in me. Thank you.
Have we met before? Yeah. We met before. Okay, where did we meet before?
We met about a week ago.
Where did we meet?
We met at the museum.
We met at Horsham. American Heritage in Horsham, Pennsylvania, has an exhibit center inside the community room, and it's called the Tuskegee Airmen Exhibit Center. Inside this exhibit center, there's all kind of authentic memorabilia and paraphernalia from the Tuskegee Airmen. Thanks to Mr. Bruce Folk, the CEO of American Heritage, who's here, this became a dream in July 2022.
So about a month ago, this young man and his parents came by, and we gave him the tour of it, and he was so, I was so impressed with him, and so when I saw him, I'm like, I know this guy, you know, so thank you for coming by and exhibiting the gym. You have 4 Ds coming by the way. Good job, good luck. Thank you. The next award is for Ms. Nyla Stokes. She's at Howard University. She's getting an award for the education and history position. She's not going to be here today, but she did send in a video, and we can watch the video, please.
Hello, my name is Nyla Stokes. I'm a freshman political science major from Howard University, and I'm one of the recipients of the Tuskegee Airmen Scholarship. I would like to say thank you so much for this honor and opportunity to continue my education, especially because the Tuskegee Airmen were one of the many groups that are responsible for my matriculation and made it possible for me as a Black woman in America to pursue my dreams. I want to say thank you again so much, and I apologize for my absence. I appreciate the honor.
Okay, Nyla is the granddaughter of the mayor of Cartersville, Mr. Hazen Rice Green, and they won't be able to attend tonight, but since they're my neighbors, I'm going to accept the award for Nyla to make sure she gets it. So congratulations to Nyla. The next award goes to Kavia Thompson, no relation. I don't know, we might be. Anyway, she's also at Howard University. She's getting a $1,000 scholarship award for education and history. Kavia could not be here, but she also sent in an acceptance video.
I would like to start off by giving a big thanks to the Greater Chapter Tuskegee Airmen Scholarship for offering me a $1,000 scholarship. I would also like to give a big thanks to my parents for supporting me through my years of school, always having my back, and helping me get through this college process. How would this scholarship benefit me, right? This scholarship will benefit me by helping me further my education at Temple University, Drexel University, or Howard University. I'm still undecided, but I have to make my decision soon. Whatever decision I make, I choose to major in dance, which is my passion, and minor in business. Once again, I am very thankful and honored to receive this scholarship. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next award goes to Nyla Wheeler. She's attending Xavier University in Louisiana. She's getting the Education and History Scholarship, for $1,000, and she also sent in an acceptance video.
Hello everyone. My name is Nyla Wheeler, and I am so sorry I was unable to attend the Scholarship Gala today. I am so honored and grateful to be a recipient of the Greater Philadelphia Chapter Tuskegee Airmen Education and History Scholarship. Receiving this scholarship is important to me because I will continue to exemplify the strength and resilience of the Tuskegee Airmen throughout my career. I look forward to using this scholarship in support of my graduate studies at Emory University, where I will be pursuing a Master's in Public Health, concentrating in global health. Thank you again to the Greater Philadelphia Chapter of Tuskegee Airmen for your ongoing support in my education.
The next award goes to Damian Coles, attending Howard University. He's getting a scholarship for mechanical engineering. It's a $1,000 scholarship, and he also sent in an acceptance video.
Hello, my name is Damian Coles, and sadly I will not be there in person to attend the scholarship gala, as I will still be at my university. The Tuskegee Airmen have paved the way for young black men such as myself to enter spaces under the belief that we belong. I view their hardship as strength that helped stir my parents forward, and then allowed my parents to pour that very same strength into me. I relate myself to the Tuskegee Airmen because even now today, young black men and women have to exceed excellence in order to get opportunities that may come easier to others. And I just wanted to say thank you for selecting me to receive the Greater Philadelphia Chapter Tuskegee Airmen, Inc. Scholarship Award. Receiving this scholarship allows me to ensure my path to early graduation and getting my bachelor's in mechanical engineering. And I just wanted to thank my mom, my dad, and Ms. Adrienne McKinney to help making this all possible.
I apologize. Let me go back. Is there anyone here to accept the award for Ms. Wheeler? I'm sorry. I apologize. Come on. Ms. Nahil, right? Here's her for these. Now let you get your award. I apologize. And the person who's going to receive for Damian Coles, he can be prepared to come on up to receive your for these. And before you come, I'd like to make two explanations so that people understand. The reason the students are not here is because a lot of them are still in school taking tests. So it's not a disrespect they're not here. They're taking tests, so that comes first. And the second thing I want to explain is, if you were here last year, you may have seen students come up and receive their awards, and they took their seats without saying anything. This year we implemented a 30-second speech, if you will, because we just think that it gives a lot to have a student go up and say to their families, thank you for the awards. So going forward, you're going to see students send videos in, or in person, or letters, thank you for the award, because we think it's the right thing to do. You don't have to thank me, Oh, I'm sorry, you also getting it for Career Thompson. Excuse me, I apologize. You getting 2 awards. That's 8 Ds. Thank you. We'll have 2 more to go, and both people are here in person. The next award goes to Devin Crump, attending Howard University. They get a $1,000 scholarship for medical. Is it Devin or Devon? Devin, okay.
Good afternoon. I am grateful for the opportunity to receive the scholarship from the Philadelphia Tuskegee Airmen. Your decision to support my educational journey means a lot to me, and I can't express my gratitude for this opportunity. To me, this scholarship represents more than just financial assistance. It represents validation of my hard work and dedication to my education. I also want to express my appreciation for my family. The support and encouragement has been the guiding light throughout my educational pursuits. Their belief in me has been a constant source of inspiration, and I'm forever grateful for your love, guidance, and sacrifices. And to all the other supporters who have played a role in shaping my journey, thank you for believing in me and pushing me to strive for excellence. Your guidance and encouragement have been important in my growth and development, and I am truly grateful for your support. Once again, I am truly honored to have this organization's support on my journey as I continue to strive for excellence in all that I do. Thank you once again for this opportunity. I've learned so much, and it's amazing how much history is in the room today.
Wait a minute, you gotta get one of these. And she memorized the whole thing. Can you believe that? Wow. 4 of these. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you again. Our last scholarship award for tonight is Ms. Heather Gross. She's attending Tennessee State University. She's getting a $1,000 scholarship for medical as well. Heather Gross. You know, I've been seeing you all day long. I did not know you would get a scholarship. You didn't tell me that. Okay. All right.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Heather Groves, and I am currently pursuing a degree in psychology at Tennessee State University. I stand before you today with immense gratitude in my heart. Thanks to the generosity of the Greater Philadelphia chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen, receiving the scholarship is not just a financial blessing, it is a validation of my hard work and dedication to my studies. With this support, I cannot focus more on my academic pursuits without the burden of financial stress weighing me down. I am truly appreciative of the Greater Philadelphia chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen for their commitment to empowering students like myself. Your investment in my education not only aids me personally, but also contributes to the broader community by helping shape future leaders. Your belief in me fuels my determination to succeed, and I promise to make the most of this opportunity. Thank you once again for your generosity and for believing in the potential of students like myself. Your support means the world to me, and I am deeply grateful. Thank you to my mom for also pushing me to finish my scholarship paper because I was going through so much. Y'all don't understand. I was going through so much at college, but not trying to talk down on college. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you, and I support all of you, and thank you everyone so much.
That was good. You know you did your 4 Gs, okay?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Good luck. Congratulations. Thank you. This concludes our scholarship awardees, but remember, all the money that we gave out tonight is because of people like you attending these type of events. Because we're an all-volunteer organization, every penny we get in goes right back out to these students. Next year, we're going to have many more students and many more scholarships to give out because of you. Thank you.
Congratulations again to the students. We'll move on with our program. Change gears here, but still giving out awards. Now we'll turn to the Tuskegee Congressional Gold Medal Awards. Those will be presented by Mel, as well as James. And that's it.
So I just want to explain a little bit about the awards. As was mentioned earlier, the state of Pennsylvania designated March
March 29th as Tuskegee Airmen Day in Pennsylvania, thanks to the hard work of State Representative Stephen Kenzie here and the Senate and House of Representatives. After receiving that designation, our chapter and board members decided that we needed to look out. As they mentioned, there was 15,000 people that served. You were able to see 5 of the originals, but there's many more people that qualify. So we started an outreach program this year. This year we were fortunate enough to find 6 brand new families. And we honored them. 3 of the families we honored in February 5th when we celebrated Tuskegee Airmen Day. And this evening we're going to honor 3 more families. So we're going to ask that those families come forward. James and I will be presenting them not only with one of the Congressional Gold Medals, but they also will receive, and I'll show you, it's a documentation that we received from Tuskegee Airmen. The documentation will say that they are documented original Tuskegee Airmen. The 5 that you saw are documented original Tuskegee Airmen. So these families will receive that. In addition, they will receive the Congressional Gold Medal. Which is in a commemorative box. And there's one original gold medal that's in the Franklin Institute, it's in the Smithsonian. They receive a bronze copy of that medal. So you'll be able to ask them if you wanted to see it up closely. So if we could start out, you want to do the families, and we'll give this to them. And we'd like to have Representative Kenzie join us as we do these.
So to explain a little bit about what we did, Philadelphia established an outreach program called the Philadelphia Outreach Initiative. And what this initiative does is that we know that there were 992 pilots who were authorized to fly in Tuskegee. We also knew there were 15,000 support personnel that supported these pilots. They were cooks, they were mechanics, they were postal workers, they were whatever. But the families of these people who worked and involved in Tuskegee from 1941 to 1949, if they can show that that relative worked in Tuskegee at this time, they deserve to receive Congressional Gold Medals. And that's part of the outreach program you're going to see. So we've identified 3 families at the Tuskegee Day on April 5th. We awarded Congressional Gold Medals replicas to those families. Tonight we've identified 3 more families. We're going to do the same thing. The first family, the first person, this may not be in order of you guys, we're going to start with Mr. Major Thomas Wilson Love Jr. Can you flash his picture on the screen? Major Thomas Wilson Love Jr. Do we have it yet? Let me just read a brief bio and then we have the family come up. Thomas Wilson Love Jr., son of Thomas Wilson Love Sr. and Nora V. Ross Love, was born November 14, 1919 in Ardmore, Pennsylvania. Thomas received all of his education in the public school system of Delaware County. He graduated from Haverford High School. As a youth, he joined and became a faithful member of the Mount Calvary Baptist Church in Ardmore. Thomas entered the United States Army in 1942 and later transferred to the United States Army Air Corps. He entered as a cadet at Tuskegee Army Airfield. He graduated with honors from one of the last classes of Tuskegee Airmen pilots and received his wings as a second lieutenant. He served at Fort Knox, Kentucky, where he was promoted to first lieutenant, and in England, where he was promoted to captain. Upon returning from England, he joined the Air Force Reserves and was promoted to the rank of major. Thomas was united in holy matrimony to the former Mildred Dorsey, and this union was blessed with 5 children: Judith, Susan, Thomas, Brian, and Mark. He studied drafting and later became employed by the General Electric Company as a draftsman, where he worked for 30 years. Thomas was also an artist, and he loved to draw and paint, particularly nature scenes. Thomas was active in the Boy Scouts of America and served as Assistant District Commissioner. He was awarded the Arrowhead Honor by the Philadelphia Council. He was also a longtime member of the Greater Philadelphia Chapter of Tuskegee Airmen. where he was part of the Speakers Bureau that regularly presented at schools, churches, and businesses. Thomas was a loving husband, father, and grandfather. He passed away on February 15, 1991. He's interred at Fernwood Cemetery at Fernwood, Pennsylvania. Will the family of Mr. Thomas Love Wilson please come up?
Good evening. On behalf of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the United States government, I want to present this honor to you on behalf of just a tremendous work. And I'm using the term work because we know it was work back in the 1940s, especially for black pilots and for folks who served this country. We just cannot say thank you enough. And I'm saying this to everyone here, history. We should not allow history to repeat itself. These men, these women, they serve our country with distinct honor. And we should always be grateful for that. So on behalf of Congressman Dwight Evans and myself, I want to say, and of course, the great Hope chapter of Tuskegee, I want to say thank you for the service of your relative.
And in addition to receiving the Congressional Gold Medal, we will be presenting you with the certificate of documented original Tuskegee Airman for Thomas W. Love, Jr.
Thomas W. Love Jr. was a wonderful man. I knew him as a little girl, and I just remember he always had this, what I call this brown leather jacket. Although if he wasn't wearing it, it was neatly folded nearby. I had no idea that this man who we knew as Uncle Lovey, I just didn't understand at the time. I'm so very proud, and I'm so glad I knew him then. Thank you.
Thank you. The next honoree is going to be Lieutenant Paul F. King, Jr. Could you please flash his picture on the screen? And I'll read you his brief bio. Paul Well King Jr. was a Philadelphia area artist and teacher whose work helped raise the visibility of Black American artists. As a self-described abstract realist, his story reflects both the accomplishments and the difficulties of African American artists in the 20th century. King was born on August 24, 1920 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He was the son of Paul F. King Sr. and Josephine Bond Hebron, co-founder of the National Association of Negro Businesses and Professional Women's Clubs, Incorporated. In 1944, he married Laura Mitchell, the great-great-granddaughter of abolitionist John Pierre Burr. They resided in Warrington, Pennsylvania with their son and daughter. King earned 3 degrees, a BFA, BS, Bachelor of Science in Education, and Master of Fine Arts, and was also a member of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity. During World War II, King served with the Tuskegee Airmen in the 332nd Fighter Group and attained the rank of lieutenant. King attended the Philadelphia Museum School of Art, the Tyler School of Art and Architecture, and the Academia of Julian. He studied at the Academia Julian in Paris under the GI Bill. While in Paris, King was a founding member of Calera Hut, a collective gallery for American artists. King exhibited with Picasso and Ledger at the Salon de Mai
and through Whitney Fellowships, directed courses at the Center for the Art between 1952 and 1954. In 1952, King located to Haiti, where he studied and taught under a John G. Whitney Fellowship. In 1954, he returned to the United States. He taught at Temple University's Tyler School of Art, as well as the Philadelphia College of Art, where he taught until 1968. From 1968 through 1985, King taught at the Bucks County Community College, where he helped to establish a new art department. In 1966, King painted a mural at the HBCU Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte, North Carolina. In 1971, King created a relief installation for the 59th Street Baptist Church in Philadelphia. He had a 2-decade-long association with the Brandywine Workshop and was a recipient of the Van der Zee Award in 1990. King died on November 26, 2009 in Warrington, Pennsylvania. His works are collections at the Philadelphia Museum of Art, the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts, the African American Museum in Philadelphia, the Hampton University Museum in Virginia, the James A. Michener Art Museum, the British Museum in London, the James E. Lewis Museum of Art at Morgan State University in Baltimore, the Nigerian National Museum, the Pennsylvania State Museum in Harrisburg, the Dallas Museum of Art, and the Tucson Museum of Art, among others. Would his family please come up to accept the award?
They didn't waste any time. They got to do it very quickly. I just had a sidebar conversation with Mr. King to find out that Mr. King was his father. And we're just joking because some of you know something about the Divine Nine. And I said, well, your father was a Omega, I'm a Kappa. He said, well, you're right, my cousin's a Q. Cousin's Kappa, sorry. I want to say, listen, your father was more than all right. You know, there's a saying in Greekdom, many are called, few are chosen. And we look back at what your father has done. He was one of the few that chose this path to make history in our country. And we are forever in debt for what your father has done. I want to present to you the Congressional Medal of Honor and say thank you for sharing your father with all of us and the great work that he's done. Thank you very much. In addition to receiving the medal, once again we're going to present them with the documented original Tuskegee Airmen certificate. But Mr. King represented something that I always talk to our chapter about. Not only did they serve with distinction during World War II as Tuskegee Airmen and women, but they went on to serve the country even afterwards. And you saw the accomplishments of Judge Williams and others and Mr. King, because they didn't just fall off the earth. They had all these hurdles and obstacles and things that they had to overcome while they were fighting for a country that they didn't want then. But when they came out of the service, they continued to serve a country because they wanted to make a difference. And as you've heard about many of them, and as Mr. King, they continued to serve, and we were very proud to present them with the documented original Tuskegee Airmen certificate.
If you don't mind, I had a couple things I wanted to say. One, my dad was proudly Tuskegee Airman for a lot of reasons. And one was the fact that he and those who remember the Tuskegee, which is testimonial to this organization itself, created a fraternity of brothers. And two stories. First one is, my dad was at USO in New York City. And he was with a friend, standing in the bar. And a white officer in crutches came up to him, tapped him on the shoulder, my dad didn't know who he was, and the guy started crying. Gave him a big hug. And said, if it hadn't been for you guys, I wouldn't be here. Because you flew with us all the way back to our base. Our plane was damaged. You flew with us all the way back to our base. We watched us land, and it took off. And I had never had the opportunity to thank a black officer, a Tuskegee Airman, for saving my life. My dad said, all I could do was just sit there and listen to him. I had nothing to say, but I understood. And those things are important. The other was, he met friends, and they meet in different places. For instance, my dad came back, well, no native here. My dad was up for a job in about 1948, and he was asked to go for an interview for his position at the state school in Pennsylvania. And when he walked into the restaurant, and the man saw who he was and what he looked like, my dad said, "Is there any point in sitting down?" And the man said, "No." So my dad went back, he was actually at graduating, was teaching at Tyler. And Dr. Lucian, who had been in a concentration camp, called the school's representative and said, "Why are you doing this? You have to be my best person." So he didn't get the job. He went home, told my mother, "I gotta get out of here." And so, with the help of Dr. Lucian, who got into the Academy Juliet in Paris, he had a lot of the blacks. He went to Europe as an expatriate for a while and studied art in France. When he came back 3 years later, I was with them, and he went to Haiti. And in Haiti, he ran into James O. Clinton. And James O. Clinton was one of the civilian pilot instructors at Tuskegee. And they became fast friends until Jimmy became my godfather. And later on, he became first black vice president of Eastern Airlines. So there was a connection between these men on lots of levels. Michelle's going to come up in a minute and tell you about her dad. Was the best friend on the law. So thank you for the recognition. You guys do an important job here of recognizing the past of the past. But you also light up the path to the future with your scholarships and push and support of these young people. So thank you very much for this. Dad would be proud to be honored before right now if you're still around. So thank you very much.
And by the way, I have to add this. His father also was a charter member of the Greater Philadelphia chapter. Give a round of applause. Wow. So, the last congressional gold medal that we're going to be about tonight is for Flag Officer Adolphus Lewis Jr., who was best friends with Mr. King. Would you please show his picture? And I'll read his bio for you. Flag Officer Adolphus Lewis Jr. was born May 4, 1920 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He was the oldest of 5 children born to Adolphus Lewis Sr. and Thomasina Lewis. Adolphus was educated in the Philadelphia public school system and graduated from Central High School before matriculating at Howard University. During World War II, Adolphus left his college studies to serve his country in the Army of the United States. After the war, he concluded his education with a Bachelor of Applied Arts and his BS in Education from Temple University's Tyler School of Art. Adolphus entered the armed forces on August 19, 1942 as an aviation student, and especially was that of a bombardier. He was promoted to corporal on March 15, 1944. And on December 29, 1944, was honorably discharged from Midland Army Airfield, Midland, Texas, to accept an appointment as a flight officer. On December 30, 1944, Adolphus entered active duty as a bombardier and attended service schools for primary pilot training, advanced bombardier training, advanced navigation training, and gunnery training, which is pre-flight pilot. He was part of the Tuskegee Pilots Training Experiment,
which trained black pilots for service in the war. As an original Tuskegee Airman with the 477th Bomber Group, he helped to integrate the United States Air Force and inspired his fellow servicemen and servicewomen. During his time in the service, on April 4, 1945, he was involved in the Fremont Field Mutiny. This occurred when black officers were arrested for defying Colonel Robert R. Selway's Jim Crow's order. This order barred the black officers from entering an officers' club, and he wanted to keep exclusively for use by white officers. The officers were arrested in 3 groups. Adolphus was in Group 2, which totaled 36 black officers. However, the following day, they continued to defy Colonel Selway, and another 25 were arrested. A total of 61 black officers were under arrest. After 2 days of arrest, 58 of the officers were released. Over a period of 2 days, 101 black officers were placed under arrest. Adolphus was arrested twice for defying the regulation. In a 1996 ceremony in Atlanta, Georgia, President Bill Clinton pardoned the records of 101 black officers, and Adolphus' record was wiped clean. In January of 1946, while serving in the Air Force, Adolphus met and married Jean Hardwick of Philadelphia. Adolphus and Jean were blessed with 3 children, Michelle, Adolphus III, and Leslie. Adolphus touched the lives of many young students as a respected arts teacher at the Robert Ford Junior High School, from which he retired after more than 30 years of service. While at Ford Junior High School, Adolphus also spent a semester at Villanova University as an instructor under the aegis of the Philadelphia school system. Adolphus was an active member of the EO Philadelphia Club, the Philadelphia Howard University Alumni, Greater Philadelphia Chapter Tuskegee Airmen, Inc., and Lewis Water Sports in San Juan, Puerto Rico, which he owned and operated with his son, Adolphus Lewis III. He passed away on November 5, 2002 in Carolina, Puerto Rico. For his memorial service, his wife received a personal condolence from President Bill and Hillary Clinton, commending his service as a Tuskegee Airman and helping to move the process of having a fully integrated armed forces, and showed the world that people of all races were worthy of the fight. Would the family of Adolphus Lewis come forward, please? He also was a charter member of the Tuskegee chapter.
I want to first say thank you. And I'm saying thank you because legacies continue on. And we just heard part of the bio of Mr. Lewis, but the fact that you're here, that legacy continues on. And as I'm listening to it, getting arrested not once but twice, man, I'm afraid. I'm afraid. But it just talks about the courage that Mr. Lewis has demonstrated. It talks about his commitment. And we're talking about at a time where, back in the 40s, some of the folks were here and alive. And for some of us, when we just read stories about the 40s, it's a time that I don't know if we would have been able to survive. But Mr. Lewis not only survived, he strived, and he led folks. And on behalf of the Greater Philadelphia Chapter of Tuskegee Airmen, Congressman Dwight Evans, on behalf of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I want to present this congressional level of honor to you. And my hope is that the legacy can continue on. And not only for you, but for everybody who's out here. In order for this legacy to continue, we need to support the Greater Philadelphia Chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen. Because the stories that are being told today, this organization don't exist, those stories are going to die. Those stories are going to die, and we cannot allow for that to happen. So I want to say thank you, congratulations, and let's keep the legacy alive.
In addition, once again, I want to present you with the documented original Tuskegee Airmen certification. But as State Representative Steve Kenzie said, unless we tell our history, no one's going to know it. And if we don't have family members, like the Lewis family, that come forward, we won't even know that these individuals exist. So it's incumbent on all of us that we continue to tell the story. And if you think that you know a family that possibly has a Tuskegee Airmen member, just let us know, and we'll go through the process in order to do this. We found the King family because we talked to the Lewis family. So there are many people out there that know others, and that started when we talked to the Williams family. So it's out there. You might have someone in your family that served as a Tuskegee Airman. And if you do, we would like to honor it. But thank you once again.
I'm Michelle, I'm the oldest. This is my sister Leslie, my daughter Tamika, in the picture with my father. Dad would take her down the parkway when you all did, handed out pamphlets about the Tuskegee Airmen, and my daughter worked with my father. He was very proud to be a Tuskegee Airman, which you may not know, Daddy started a flying school in Louisville called the Flying Falcons, and they taught children to fly. I think my sister went to flying school and was able to fly solo, but she was not old enough to get a license, so she couldn't get a pilot's license, but she could fly a plane. Another thing that we didn't mention, he also started a children's camp in the Catskill Mountains, Camp Mohawk in the Catskill. Bobby went in, and Gail, sorry, the William family and Jock, and all of this, there's a lot of Lawrence is here, there are a lot of people from the Philadelphia area and all over. It was an interracial camp for children ages 7 to 16, and they would go up and down the East Coast showing slides of the camp. We had children coming from California. I don't know if you know Gregory Pierce. Dr. Pierce had his own plane. He would fly his son up to camp and land above the swimming pool. So there's a lot that Daddy continued as being a Tuskegee Airman. As you said, he was a chartered member, and he did a lot with the Tuskegee Airmen. And hopefully I can continue where he left off and get with the organization. And I thank Mr. Thompson for calling me and sitting with me, and Mr. Kane also for getting this wonderful award. And yesterday was Daddy's 104th birthday in heaven. So this is really very appreciated. Thank you very much.
This concludes the ceremony for the Congressional Gold Medals, but we're not done yet. We have a couple more things for you, and then we will be concluded.
So, in closing, if you guys want to revisit history and reread these bios, you can go to our website, www.phillyredtails.org. It has a lot of bios of a lot of different people, including the people you saw today. And please share the website with all your family and friends. Thank you so much for coming today. Thank you very much.
Yes. Okay, so it's time for the auction items. For the individuals that I call their names, if you would go out and meet with my wife, it's a table that's next to where we have our Tuskegee Airmen items. One, Alfred Hagan, Leslie Donnett, Earlene Gaskins, Adrian McKenney, and Jude Nix.